Believe it or not, that's me. Huge missing front tooth, sunburnt, no job, sleeping under the stars, hair bleached blonde from all the sun. A little rough around the edges, but if you can see that look in my eyes, you can tell I'm having a good time. And behind it all, my life was changing. This is the surf trip through Baja California that changed my life. A lot of you are watching because you saw my documentary, The Bull. I made this documentary 6 or 7 years ago during this surf trip, and I finally released it on YouTube this week. In the last few days, it went viral, which is crazy. But if you like The Bull and you're here because of The Bull, you're gonna like a lot of the other films that I'm releasing soon. A lot of my documentaries carry on similar themes of connection to nature, environmental conservation, culture, adventure, and living life on your own terms. So if you like that, you'll love my upcoming documentaries. All the comments on The Bull are full of people reliving their old stories, their old surf trips, their old Baja trips specifically. It's so much fun to read, especially the surf trips in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I feel like Baja was just a completely different world. And it's so much fun to read, so I thought I would share my own story. The places we went, the characters that we met, the friendships that we made, the moments where like everything went wrong, the disasters, everything that makes a trip just so epic. And I have a bunch of old footage and photos from that time. So it's been so much fun to reminisce about those days and how it changed my life. So The Bull was my very first documentary, and I've been working full-time in production since then. So once again, if you like that documentary, please subscribe and like, because you're gonna like the ones that I continue to release. But let's get back to the surf trip that changed my life. And how the hell did I lose that tooth? Flashback to 2015, over 10 years ago. I was 26 years old, living in Pacific Beach, San Diego. I was your classic surf bum. Lived in a shitty house with my buddies, 4 blocks from the ocean, surfed 4 times a week, had a really mediocre job, partied on the weekends. As a 25-year-old, it was a lot of fun. But underneath it all, I think I wanted more, and it wasn't enough. So my best friend and I made an agreement, made a brotherhood, and we committed to quit our jobs and go on this epic surf trip from California down to Central America. 8 months later, I quit my job. I cashed out all my stock from my corporate job. I gave away all my furniture and shit, frankly, to my friends. My buddy bought a 1992 Toyota 4Runner, one of the best models in the world, and we hit the road. We started in Los Angeles, and our goal was to go all the way down to Central America. If you know Baja California, Mexico, you know it's a really desolate place. It's not a tropical paradise like everyone thinks it is. It's rough, windy, kind of a brutal stretch of land. So wild, but also really inspiring, especially on a surf trip. The open road, the vast landscapes of nothing, the waves, the untouched, uncrowded waves. It really makes you feel like, anything is possible. We camped every night. We cooked food over open flames. We drank so many beers. We only checked internet once a week. I purposely canceled my cell phone bill so I would be detached from that world. We were going down the entire Baja California coast, stopping at surf spots along the way, staying however long we wanted. Just 2 dusty surfers. We were living the dream. But within 24 hours, disaster struck. A few hours south of Ensenada, our differentiator in our 4Runner blew out, and we were entirely stranded.
Kwong.
What up?
What's up? How you doing?
Living the dream out here.
You want to tell me what's going on right now?
So, what happened was, trying to hit this village up to surf, and our 4x4 went out. So we stopped at a cement factory as it was the end of the road, and ended up camping there for 2 days. And over the course of that time, we met a couple people who helped us find these mechanics. Now we're here, putting the parts back on my car, and it seems promising.
How far are we along in the trip right now?
This is day number 3.
So how are you feeling about everything?
Like shit.
We slept at a cement factory the first night of our trip. A really nice security guard let us stay there and let us cook in the cement factory's kitchen. The next day we had to walk in town and find mechanics anywhere. We were desperate. A mechanic's wife took us under her wing and invited us to dinner. It was a wild experience, and we were so vulnerable and so lost. And we were just at the mercy of strangers of the world, The family took us in under their wing, took us in like their own. And we spent 3 days living at this family's house while the husband and his friend tried to fix our car. We slept at the cement factory at night and came back during the day. We translated car manuals, drank Modelo's, and just hung out and just hoped for the best, basically. After 3 full days, the mechanics fixed the issues, and they charged us $300. In the US, it would be like $3,000. Of course, we're broke, but we're so happy with that price. So we give him $350, which was all the money we had, and we give him a pint of Fireball that was under my seat. They loved it. We had one final dinner with the entire family, and we hugged, kissed, and we headed on our way. And that experience was so chaotic, so dramatic, so depressing at first, because it was within our first day of our epic surf trip we were supposed to have. But it gave us, so much faith in humanity. And this family was so generous and barely asked anything of us. And we came to learn that is definitely a trait of the Mexican people, their generosity, their hospitality, their curiosity. It's something that we definitely do not have in the United States. So we left that experience and headed south. So we were heading south, stopping at surf spots, a little humbled by our experience, and we finally found a surf spot where I met Glenn and started to make the documentary, The Bull. Well, what happened to my tooth? Let's get to that. So I just quit my job in the US, no dental, no health insurance, no plans for a dental emergency, and right before our trip started, I have a fake tooth in front, and it basically just fell out. So for the first month of our surf trip, my tooth was constantly falling out, and I'm constantly putting it back in. I have a vivid memory of me surfing, paddling, and my tooth falling out and bouncing and skipping across my surfboard. Like my life flashed before my eyes, thinking about having no tooth for months. But I grabbed it, stuffed it back in, and then paddled back. So for a month, I would stop at pharmacies, get this little dental putty, and just smash it up, and just tried to live another day. Eventually, I found a dentist in La Paz, Mexico, and we custom designed my new tooth. I sat with him at the computer as we 3D printed it. I even got to choose a Spotify playlist. It was so much fun. And it cost me $500. In the US, it would probably cost $3,000. But we had some good laughs at my expense of being the ugliest person in the room. So back to when I met Glenn Horn and started making The Bull. At the time, I dreamed of being a filmmaker, but I'd never made a film. I had a few music videos, a few short videos, but that was it. I had sold my stock for my corporate job in the US, and I bought a used Canon 5D Mark III, 2 used lenses, and a used MacBook Pro. So I was setting myself up to make something special, or I hoped. I didn't know for sure if I could do something like that, but kind of on the inside underneath it all, I really thought I could. I didn't tell anyone that that's kind of what I wanted to do, but I was thinking about it constantly. So I feel like I was mentally prepared. And then we met Glenn at this surf spot, and seeing how he operated, listening to his story, it sure made a lot of sense to me. He was a guy who stood for something so different and was so disciplined and had achieved this vision that he had. It was just really inspirational to me, and I feel like this could make a really special film. How did he surf this particular wave? How did he set up his van so he could live there forever? How did he get so jacked? Why are his teeth so white? These are all questions I wanted to ask, but sometimes you feel awkward in person. So after a few days, I got courage to ask him if I could interview him and ask him a few questions on camera. He said yes, so that was exciting. The first night we went and did it, and it was a great interview. And there were a few questions that I had prepared that were really deep and kind of hard-hitting questions. What do you think your legacy is? Or do you think about death at all? Are you getting limited with your old age? Some of these deeper questions, and he didn't have answers for them. He just wasn't really prepared for them, and so the answers weren't ideal. The next day, he came up to our tent and knocked on our tent, and he said, I've been thinking about those questions. Can you come back tonight and we can do those again? And that was when I knew, I was like, okay, this could be something really special. So for the next few days, I followed him around in between surfing and just picked his brain and followed his life. I went spearfishing with him once, and he happened to pull out this huge halibut, which felt like destiny at the time. We were both so stoked on that. So later that night, we had the halibut with some Jack Daniels to celebrate, and just really good memories all around. But I also realize now, in those moments, I was building something within myself. I was improving my technical ability with these cameras. I was working on my ability to tell stories, working on my cinematography, and also just working on my perception of the world and really thinking about who I wanted to be. I was only 26 years old, so I was really growing and there was a lot of movement within me. And so it was a really impactful time for me. And throughout the entire surf trip, I was editing this documentary in my tent, in taco shops and coffee shops. I was kind of secretly working on this project. And so we spent the next 3 months surfing, camping, living the dream, basically. It was some of the best times of my life. We met so many different people from all walks of life, from all around the world. For example, we picked up 2 Kiwis along the way, Joe and Ted. They're from New Zealand, and they were hitchhiking from California through Mexico. Imagine that, hitchhiking through Mexico, that's crazy. They had 2 backpacks, 1 surfboard, and 1 pair of sandals. They literally would trade the sandals and the surfboard day to day. They were just insane and so much fun and such great guys. And so they hitchhiked with us for a few weeks, and it was so much fun to have them along the ride. I haven't seen him since, but we've been friends ever since. We also met a kid named Fernando that was on a short surf trip with his trusty sidekick dog, Bruno. Fernando was from Tijuana, and he was planning to go back up to Tijuana to continue working, but his truck broke down in the middle of nowhere, and he ended up hitchhiking with us for a few weeks. I think he ended up just quitting his job altogether and traveling with us and surfing with us, so it was so much fun. We were all packed into this 4Runner. We ended up staying at his cousin's house in southern Baja, looking after his dog. He was a lot of fun. And we met so many other people, so many couples that were traveling, so many nomads, so many different types of people that just wanted to live life differently. And I think we all shared a special time in our lives that no one else had. I think we'll remember that forever. I'm still in touch with a lot of these people. After Baja, we crossed over to mainland Mexico and did all the west coast of Mexico. At that point, I'd finished editing the bull, and I had just raised enough money to start my next documentary that was supposed to be in Peru. I remember saying goodbye to my buddy in Mexico City, late to the airport, of course, and he gave me a hug. He's like, man, go get him, because it felt like a big moment for both of us, you know? After this trip, we were in shape, we were confident, we were loose, we were just optimistic, you know, that a crazy surf trip like that just gets in your soul. And I felt like I was headed towards something. We both felt like we were headed towards something, and it was time for the next chapter. Part of me thinks about that trip every single day. It was a huge fork in the road for me. I don't exactly know how surfing plays a part in that, but I guess it was like the vehicle that was able to take me through this adventure and through this journey and kind of view my life in a different way. So it was the greatest thing I've ever done. It was the greatest choice, and it led me to a lot of the goals that I wanted. And it's been a hell of a ride ever since. I've been making films and content ever since, and a lot of my documentaries carry on the same theme that I kind of discovered on this surf trip. It's been really fun reading all the comments and the stories from other people on YouTube. The surf community is so tight-knit and so supportive, and we all share so many things in common. It's just been really fun to kind of rehash all these memories. So if you have any crazy surf stories, surf trips, please let me know, especially the older generations. I'm really interested in what was Baja like in the 70s and the 80s. Was it dangerous? Was it bliss? You know, obviously travel was so much harder, but man, I bet you had those waves all to yourself. So if you want to share your story, please do. I hope you like this video, kind of a behind the scenes look at this crazy surf trip that ended in this great documentary. And keep an eye out for more documentaries coming soon. Thanks guys. Saludos.